Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hand of Fate 2. So, it took me multiple tries, 4 or 5 tries, to get to this point with the quest that we're doing, which is, it's a really awful quest. There are 4 levels, each level you get an object, the object comes with a curse. There are some event cards, like little devil here, that remove curses, and that's something we unlocked in finishing the previous quest. But the main thing I think you really get from this is to use food wisely to heal yourself. By the 3rd level in this quest, which I think this is called the Sun. Yeah, I think it's called the Sun. But by that point, you are, by the 3rd level, you're getting a curse like every time you move. And there really isn't just a lot of ways to get around that. Might as well just max my life up to 125. The very first thing you do in this quest is you lose health one way or the other. You either lose max health, which I think is the wrong choice, or you lose regular health. And see, the real thing that kind of sucks here is that there's still a high chance that I will lose. We have this villager's axe, which I can use, or I could have a shield and get some more defense. Like, none of the equipment really came into play here because fairly quickly I started to lose fame and be unable to actually use equipments. The Mayor's Blessing will give you food, 10 food, when you reveal all the encounters. So if you start the level, the quest with Fate's Path, then you make your way as quickly to the end, you'll reveal everything and get 10 food. But then you just have all of these curses, and Little Devil's only going to remove 1 curse. It's not going to remove a bunch of them. So unless there was something special that happened because of these curses, this is draw a curse before every encounter, Pinnacle's curse. So unless you had something in your pocket that could remove a curse on demand, which I don't think such a thing exists, you're going to end up with a ton of curse cards and 2 blessings at the end. When you get to the beginning of this stormy snare, there would be a possibility of holding up the lightning rod and having it hit by lightning, and maybe that would have done something different. But really all I'm trying to do is figure out if I can win this summoning, which is probably a final fight, and I've paused the games for at least an hour since I last played, so I'm hoping I can win the fight too. There's a lot of issues here, certainly. 1 more curse.
Here our paths cross for the first time. Did you know then that we would reach this moment now?
Interesting. So this is supposed to be the part in history where we met the dealer. Interesting. Yeah, and there's a lot of card events and things that I'm just not showing, that as far as all the dialogue and what they do. I'll try and highlight them, but yeah. Obviously there's content you'd have to play the game for yourself to see, but I'm not sure. There's no way I could really recommend playing this game yourself just to see that small amount of content. I can only recommend playing this game for people who have liked what they've seen so far in this series and would want to just play even more of it. So we follow the ominous beam of light up to the foothills to a summit overlooking the countryside. We have destroyed the 4 cursed items and sealed the 4 portals. That was the main goal. Yet another portal stands surrounded by mages, necromancers, and witch. This one much, much larger than the others. Flames dance at the edge of the maelstrom. I wouldn't be surprised if I've actually done this before and just lost in the final battle. Yeah. I would almost think that it would be nice if there was no fight here, and instead this is where the dealer just gets summoned via portal from death. Yeah. A group of levitating mages begin to cast an incantation. The cacophony of portal clashes with the roaring storm winds until all you can hear is a deep, powerful heartbeat. So we have several arcane people we're gonna fight. As they chant something unintelligible, a decrepit arm extends from the fiery maelstrom. A robed figure, his face obscured by ragged hood, steps from the flaming portal to stand before the assembled mages. It rasps with a voice long unused. I've returned to reclaim my place at the table. A new era awaits. So remember, this game is taking place, I think it was 100 years, maybe 200 years after the events of the first game. And so now we know how the dealer, who we defeated in the first game, has been resurrected. That being said, I was kind of thinking that maybe this dealer was secretly the hero of the first game, and it wasn't the same dealer. The mages and necromancers fall to their hands and knees in reverence. They fall into pious silence as he speaks again. For returning my objects of power, you will be rewarded. He leaned heavily upon his staff and waves his arms. Gold and trinkets appear and clatter the ground before him. The figure nods at his subjects and disappears in a burst of flame. So, is he rewarding them, or is he rewarding me? Because I was the one who returned the objects of power by throwing them in the portal. Eventually the mages realize they're not alone. So it still ends up in a fight where very clearly you could have had a story here where the fight is threatened but doesn't actually happen, and you just are given a break. And here we have an archmage. The quest for power and knowledge will cost a sea of blood if it must. Mages shoot projectiles from a distance of aid to avoid their attacks. And this looks like yet another female character. That does seem like it's always the stronger characters are the female models, and very often the female models are robed or covering their face, because I don't think there's that much variety in their models. This is a game that's made in Unity, and it definitely screams that if it wasn't made in Unity, it might run a little bit better. Alright, so we have this like portal here, and then like I'm having a hard time even seeing where my character is. There's just a lot of stuff going on here. And very much this is still much a case of smashing buttons. Trapped in a magical spell. I've started noticing that happens more too. That when I'm getting to these later levels, I'm getting trapped by magical snares instead of northerners throwing bolas. Alright, so we did succeed, thank goodness. Now, what could go wrong here, and I think it would be more than appropriate to rage quit at this point if this did happen, is that I finished this quest, and it's still not good enough to unlock a new quest. Well, we shall see very quickly here. You search the bodies for anything of value, but cannot escape the question that echoes your mind. Who or what have you unleashed here today? So this wasn't the sun, it was the star.
We are bound now. The final moments approach, and with each moment accelerate.
For sealing the portals, we have the Black Cauldron, Wine of the Gods, an ordeal by iron, which it has a regular token where the other two have shards. We also have Arcane Edge, Meteor Strike, and Weave of the Protector, which has a token. Anything we get new in the last couple of missions are going to be
The sun unfolds.
irritating.
5 gates stand before us. 8 lie at our heels. Can you feel the power that lives in this place? It is close now.
Okay, I have no idea what that means as far as 5 gates stand before them, 8 at our heels. Does that mean there literally is still 5? Yeah, there might very well be 5 more quests after this point. 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and then the world, and then something else. I don't know what that would be, though, because that wouldn't be a major arcana card. Well, the good news is that did unlock something. So, it isn't just that I need to go back and get gold with strength, or justice, or hanged man, or any of the others. So we can see new content today, thank goodness for that. And the board got a little bit brightly lit for a second there, but then it started to kind of get dark again.
I think back to the times when I stood at the throne of life and death, played my game and made my peace. I was a force of nature then. Truth flowed through me unchanged. Now, I am but a mortal. I find the world so full of friction. People are so much more pointed than truth.
So, we have no companion we're taking in this quest. This is once again feeling like this is going to be a very linear experience. The quest is that we must infiltrate the Emperor's palace and kill him. Empire, be prepared to combat against Empire soldiers, and combine spaces. The confines of the sewers don't allow you to bring along loadout cards. You will need to find equipment along the way. So we're not picking supplies, and we are not picking companions. So, first playthrough, almost certainly not going to win, so we might as well just take what is new that we can take. While I was playing off screen, I did try to do this quest to no real avail. It's a really difficult fight. You're going to have to do it in very specific previous challenges where it would make sense. I think the same is probably true for this. The one that would give you a lot of health would be the one to do these curse cards in. We don't know what this does, we don't know what this does. And as such, we kind of don't know much of anything else. Let's see. This dual quest with combat efficiency is another one that I still have really failed to succeed at. And I just don't know how I'm supposed to win here. Results improve the less damage sustained in combat. So I think you have to win without doing any damage in that case. Then I have no idea about this one. In that shard. There's definitely some cards here that I have no idea what they are supposed to do. Okay. We'll take our brimstone limit of cards, I guess. There is an actual brimstone limit. Interesting. And then there's just no real telling as far as what to do with the remaining 7 cards. So yeah, I should have been using that in the last quest. This one, Dwarven Haggler, is pretty good. They'll trade equipment for higher amounts. But yeah, we have no idea what's going on, so that's probably about as good as I can go on this. This guy might curse you if you don't have a curse, so he's probably a bad card to play until you know what you're doing, how the quest is actually going to play out. You would think that all the cards would be more balanced in that direction, that there would be a good reason to play, say, the Silver Deer in mini quests, but not most quests. Whereas something like the Warring Kingdoms, I never found a good reason to play that. Okay, so on equipment, we have no idea. Defeat Empire, that's a good weapon to go with. And then we could have Brimstone cards. I'm not sure I want a Brimstone weapon though. It probably is closer to a case where you should only take or consider weapons if they are Empire specific weapons. We can't get that token without doing the Emperor's. I can't get that token unless we do the High Priestess. And is it really worth it to look at all these other ones? The Ram Shield is a shield, not a helmet. It, on first glance, looks like a helmet to me. Meteor Strike sounds like it could be very helpful as a card. Not really getting anywhere with Charged Bash. Let's take the Weave of Protection. Wheel Gambits. Maybe we'll do Wheel Gambits. We have no idea. A lot of these quests and elements are just never going to really happen because you have to have the item on and equipped, or at least in your inventory. I think you pretty much have to have them equipped to use them. and get that quest. Or make progress on the quests. So quickly, let's take some platinum ones. Okay. We have no clue as to what else to do, so it's probably a good one to just do that with. Very much everything is just up in the air. We're gonna have to play and see what goes. I could have picked absolutely the wrong cards. Almost certainly I have picked out really almost certainly I've picked a really bad collection of cards. It does just destroy the idea of deck building that you're given such a small hint.
Removing a figurehead is only the beginning of what is needed.
So my hope here would be that this is a one-level quest and that we can somehow luck our way through it on the first try. But in reality, almost certainly it's going to be 2, 3, 4 levels and very difficult. General Flint Hallows provide you with a secret route to the Emperor's palace. Unfortunately, it takes you through the city sewers. As you wade through the grime and muck of an entire civilization, the voice of the hermit echoes once more in your mind. You must kill the Emperor, but that will change a little. Kill one and another will take his place. Yet all this will guide you to the place where you can make a real change. You're coming closer and closer to the moment when things are no longer determined for you. You take comfort in the presence of your companions and call one to your side. You can swap companions at the campfire. Alright. So who would be the best companion to start with? I feel like the blacksmith is probably your best companion, although the soldier thematically might make some more sense. But I think we'll go with blacksmith. She has the huge success option, and she's a melee tank. Whereas if we start running into a bunch of dice rolls, we would go to him. Or if we start going to a bunch of wheel spins, we'll go to him. And if we start going to a bunch of precisions, we'll go to her. So it's of your 4 main companions. Noticeably the 2 DLC characters are not included, and the gnome goblin is not included. Ariadne slushes through the sewer water to join you. She peers down the tunnel. By the look of those iron bars, this place fills with water on the tide. We might join if we don't hurry. How exciting. Escape the sewers before you run out of moves. We have 40 moves until flooding. Flood level is low. So this is a race. So almost certainly I would think the move here would be to have card reveal, location reveal cards. But if the exit was say here or here, there's a couple of spots here where you could take too many steps.
Having a madman at the table of life and death leads more and more to people hiding their wealth, especially when that wealth carries the taint of spellcraft upon it.
Okay, I would need a 5 here to win. So we lose 15 life. But then you don't have to get too lucky on a dice roll a second time with Cave of Wonders. So it's probably a decent trade.
As you travel, you will find fame and infamy follow you. Not yet, however.
So if we can get some fame, we can use that idea.
Lurks beneath the waters.
That was a little tough.
That will set you in good stead from here.
And so that makes me wonder if we shouldn't do swing and switch to the other companion. These guys are probably going to be super easy to kill. So this might very well be the quest to play if you are trying to unlock shards or tokens on things that require that require killing corrupted. Alright. So I'm just gonna immediately go into map mode here. I'm getting quite a lot here and read these cards better. So we have ooze here, sewer stairs here, and lost bearings here. Alright, well, looks like we probably just run into a bunch of sewer lurkers and other kinds of combat encounters. Obviously we want to move to the sewer stairs. Moving, even on places we've already moved, is counting as a move. So this is also
beware the rising tides, for here they bear nothing but ill.
To move quickly.
It is dark, unpleasant, and unkind here, yet so is your quest.
Let's just not risk it.
The water is rising. I would move quickly now.
So as the tunnels are flooding, you're getting more passage. But maybe it's every time I land on flooded tunnel, I'm actually increasing the flood level too, faster, taking out moves. Pry open the gate and find nothing more than a dead end. Oh no. There is multiple sewer stairs. So, yeah, this could go very poorly just on random luck for the most part. Like, just a random placement of where enemies may be. Now, I don't know if my blunderbuss has any refill to it. So I don't inherently want to use it on somebody that would be relatively weak. I wonder if as your flood level goes up and the moves go up, if the amount of corrupted goes higher too. And every encounter is effectively just resetting you. We would need a full 666. Which I could have done that had I swapped companions first. We lose a move there, and now it's down to 17. I should have swapped companions again. If I could roll a 6 here. So Coldborn helped me to reduce the dice roll count by 1. And then I could have used Coldborn's ability after the fact. Well, we do now know what a maiden is, so we can, I guess, at least go in that direction. We don't have time to do that, though. Let's get out of here.
And so we reach out of the sewers and into the prisons, ascending one step at a time from the filth of the world with our eyes on the glory beyond.
I guess we probably did have time to do that, come to think of it, because now we're out of the sewers and it's not flooding anymore. But now we're in the palace prison. You emerge from the sewers into the cells of the palace's prison, the land's most reviled enemies rot here, the emperor unwilling or perhaps unable to end their misery with execution. You survey the surroundings, the courtyard to the emperor's chambers are just through that door. Well, that seems like that's a short journey. That's gotta be. To leave the prison, you need the jailer's keys. So there's a whole strategy here in which we are going to have to get through locked doors to get to the jailer, and probably fight the jailer, who is going to maybe walk around. Well, inherently we're going to need to get through this door anyway, so we might as well just start with this one. Okay. So we want huge success here. Oh well, we lost 5 gold. Doesn't seem like gold is really playing a big role here.
Games within games within games.
Prison mage is probably not an encounter we want to go through.
Next time, bring more food.
Right. So here was the ordeal by iron. We wanted to know what this card did. A midwife confined to a pillory cries out to you, proclaiming her innocence. I'm not a witch, she cries. She's accused of practicing necromancy after she brought a stillborn back to life and is due to stand trial in front of the Inquisition. I was only looking out for the child, and now they will have me hold scorching iron to see if I burn. Of course I will burn, she exclaims. You promise to do whatever it takes to free her. On the day of the trial, you sneak up into the executioner's chamber, draw your sword as the burly man adjusts his executioner's mask. Okay, so we're gonna, I guess, replace the executioner.
The pendulum is ever changing, and the challenges it presents change too.
Okay. There are very specific times, and it just doesn't feel like it gets back into that cycle.
Nicely timed.
If you miss your best first chance. There might be second chances and third chances, but you'd have to learn them. With a single blow, he drops like a stone. You claim the attire, leaving him tied in a closet. The dealer draws an Executioner's Axe equipment card. Okay.
A bloody reminder of justice in these lands.
As you perform the ordeal, you ensure the iron scarcely touches the flames. The midwife winces as you drop the warm bar into her whole hands, but soon realizes the ruse is for her benefit. You advise her to leave town before the real executioner is discovered. To fame. There aren't really a lot of encounter cards here that are just overall positive, or you just doing a good deed for no reason. And when you do have an event like that, you do it once, you get the token, and then it's probably never worth doing it a second time, unless you just wanted to get the Executioner's Axe. But why would you want to get the Executioner's Axe? Because it doesn't have a shard or token on it anyways. Like, if that card was a early card that you had unlocked in the first 3 or 4 missions, it would be a different deal. But we're at the end of the game, and any new cards we get at the end of the game are severely less likely to be played all the way to completion. I doubt we'll go for the Brimstone card.
Ah, what secrets a simple chest may hold.
This cell contains only a treasure chest held shut by a sturdy lock. You can't risk trying to break it open for fear of attracting guards or fellow prisoners.
Death mages. They'll make a crypt out of anything.
Prison necromancer. The feather of decaying flesh assaults your nostrils and turns your stomach. You have entered a makeshift lair for a necromancer. Rarely do I see such strength in this forsaken place. You would lead my army of the damned if you would just submit to my will. So yeah. There's a unique fight for a unique style of enemy in the prison. Several different unique fights for several different unique styles of enemies.
I wish you no harm. Yet you do what we must.
And the move here with necromancers is you get them all riled up, and they will sometimes put a shield around them that you then have to bash like crazy. This time we didn't even get to that point. The necromancer may have kept relics, which is to say, roll the dice to see if you get any relic.
Victory, you are learning.
Okay. This does recharge after combat, where this is a better card overall, I think. We're out of food.
Not the keys to the kingdom, perhaps, but enough.
So, we landed on a spot there. Did the jailer token character also move in that direction? Or is it just that we needed to go to that spot? Let's see. The jailer looks genuinely surprised to see you in his prison. What is, in the Emperor's name, are you doing down here? Persuade the jailer to hand over his keys. You attempt to persuade the jailer to hand over his keys without bloodshed. Alright. See if we can do that. We'll obviously re-roll all of those. Still a decent chance of success here. I'm not dying for this. You know they're not locked in here with me. I'm locked in here with them. The jailer hands over his ring of keys and slinks away. You can now open the locked doors.
So much death here. It leaves behind so much that is tainted and unclean.
So that had to have been a case where the token character, the jailer figurine, moved downward, and I just didn't see it. A sudden drop in temperature stops you in your path. You glance over at Krillborn as his breath turns to fog. You're in the presence of a shade, your companion whispers. Such vibrant souls, hisses a voice in the dark. I will feast on your essence for years. So, this item, Dynasty's Revenge, will do full weapon power damage to everything it hits. So if I do this, then that will just kill everything. And probably it doesn't recharge though. So it does make sense to not use it on this guy unless I know I'm going to win. But then if you're always fighting groups of skeletons or something that's almost guaranteed to die, and if you have a super powerful weapon that does damage, like 21 damage is what the Executioner's Axe is on, so that feels like that means that using Dynasty's Revenge does 21 damage. Draw 3 equipment cards, then discard if we get the exact dice roll. And this whole second floor definitely feels like it is coming down to the dice gambits. First one was swings, second one's dice gambits. If we were to take this would do 23 damage. Or we could take this and increase our defense. Extra reroll and dice gambits. I think we'll take this one.
Meticulously crafted, this armor is far stronger than it appears, and far more valuable than mere arms would indicate.
In fact, it's probably not a bad idea to just see if we can buy something here. We'll keep the rest of the gold. We could have switched companions there. Okay.
The heavens themselves destroy your enemies before you.
Summon a meteor swarm that lands for 9 seconds. Lasts for 9 seconds. Each strike causes 20 damage. Interesting. We won't equip that now, but that might prove itself to be useful later. Then a ram shield. So we may just make it all the way to the end. It's premature to say that, certainly, but we're doing pretty good. The stairs out of the prison lead to the palace courtyard.
Here we are, at the very edge of the seat of power.
Since those 3 levels are fairly
power for this oh so mortal realm.
Since these 3 levels were so big, I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't a 4th level. The palace courtyard stretches out in front of you. Otherwise, there might be a 4th level, and there might be wheel spins on this level, and then there might be, what would be the other thing? Chance cards on the last level, or vice versa. The palace courtyard stretches out in front of you. So it's just an empty courtyard except for in 5 places, and we just need to cross the courtyard, which makes me wonder if there's going to be guards that just see you. Malclips leans in close to you. If this suicide mission has any hope of succeeding, you're going to need something from the Emperor's private collection. Australia interrupts. It is a sword, an ancient relic from before this land was won. My sources tell me it's here. What's wrong with what we've got? Adrene says, motioning to her weapons. There ain't nothing in the land that can't withstand my hand. That can withstand my hammer. Goblin nods solemnly. The Emperor's evil warps and protects him. We cannot hope to stab the devil in the heart with a butter knife. Wow, so we are just at the end here. Goblin says, don't these relics sound like the ones we rescued from the Imperials? So the ones we got before, we are now collecting again. Australia appears around the corner of this palace is teeming with guards. We can't risk open fighting in these parts. In this part of the palace, we'd be surrounded before we got anywhere near the Emperor. If we sneak up on a patrolling guard, we can take them out without a fight. We must avoid being discovered. Alright, so this is just going to suck overall because we're going to have to, I guess, sneak up on people by attacking them from behind, possibly from the sides. We need to go here, and here, and here, and here. And then my guess is that we probably should go here last because the Emperor would be down here. Let's just see how this goes. Catch the guard sleeping and slip past unnoticed. Okay. So can we move forward here and get the item? Well, how were we supposed to know he was going to do that, is the question. Okay, so the question here is, can we get him on the side here? Yeah. Yes. This is just a regular dice roll event that I picked just at random, thinking that might be useful. Should I re-roll this 4? Just in an effort to kind of finish that, and this quest in particular, it doesn't matter if you fail the dice rolls. You should just go for probably the highest numbers you can go. You can get. All that does is give me 23 gold. Now Desert Trek is going to be interesting because that might change a lot as to how this all plays. I've got too many good cards now at this point. Is it really worth even going back this way and hitting that character and eliminating him? I don't think it is. They are kind of in specific patterns. Okay. So, the move here is to trade like the most expensive thing, which Assassin's Blade is 45. That is the most expensive thing for the guy. For the Dwarven Haggler. And then you're going to have a chance card. Well, that didn't play out the way I thought it has played out before. In the past, it has been you traded your most expensive thing, and then it would give you something either more expensive after a gamble, or it would give you something less expensive and the difference in gold. Australia leads you to the archives and whispers after the blade was stolen. They moved it down here. Such overconfidence, Malclip says, searching for the sword. So many fiendish ways they could have hidden it, yet it sits here among the dusty scripts and moth-eaten relics. It's almost if they didn't expect a 5-person suicide mission to break in through the sewers in an attempt to assassinate the Emperor himself, adds Ariane. This is a fine blade, Colborne mutters, drawing the sword from the crate. Right, so we've got the blade. One enemy inflicts double damage. So I wonder if we need all 4 relics. Seems like if you want to get gold, you probably do. Alright. We gotta create a diversion here. We need a 15. If we fail here, maybe we just lose completely. I suspect we've just lost Colborne as our companion. With a single blow, Colborne collapses the scaffolding. The drones that have constructed statue of the Emperor will take advantage of the ensuing chaos to sneak clear. Okay. So let's go to the camp. And let's see. Could we use any artifact now? We can use that, I guess, since we've got it, and that'll give us 15 extra health. We can see what this card does. Don't really need to buy food or sell equipment or anything like that. Just swap now to a different companion. I kind of question what the value of this guy is, Malclips. He does just kind of feel like your default first character, but it felt like he was going to play a bigger role in the story, and doesn't feel like he really has.
Exploration is at the heart of what we do. We find and cherish the new, the fresh, and the unknown.
So we got extra challenges for each of those relics, unless we could just get rid of curses. And I just don't think that's going to happen, so... It is very much a case where we're going in this with this curse, this curse, this curse, and this curse. All pain cards is applied twice. You lose equipment whenever you gain a curse. One random enemy in combat inflicts double damage. Every individual enemy inflicts 200% damage the first time they hit anyone in combat. Which means this first Nemesis character, if he hits me, is going to do 400% damage. Whereas the actual items that we've collected aren't doing anything. And it would be only a question about, is there something different to change this to? This says causes full weapon damage to all enemies when activated, versus this would do full weapon damage. I mean, this would summon a meteor swarm that lasts for 9 seconds, each strike causing 20 damage. I think it's probably wise to equip that. Yeah. Hope that's the right move. And we're assuming what's going to happen here is that...
And so the final door between you and the Emperor is before
just going to have one final fight here. The doors of Jeronim. You arrive at the doors of the Emperor's chamber. Enter.
What surprises still lie before you?
With all your might, you force the oversized metal doors apart. Air hisses into the room as you crack the stubborn seal. The chamber that awaits you is vast, its outer reaches lost in the cold and gloom. You remind yourself that not long so ago you stood in this room as the Emperor's agent. Now you intend its execution. Malcup strides forward purposefully. Is this it? I was expecting a welcoming party of 100 armed guards. I've been working on a spell that would have blown them into 1,000 pieces. Or 1,000 frogs, who can remember? Colborne kneels and examines the ground, swiping his finger along the dusty floors. This is no throne room, this is a tomb. Australia strides into the room. It is time to make amends, she says through the gritted teeth. It would be an interesting twist if the Emperor was dead this whole time. You catch Ariane admiring the metalwork on the doors. Sorry, she says, shifting her hammer from hand to hand. Once a blacksmith, always blacksmith. From the darkness you hear a throat cleared with calculated intent, and the group snaps to attention. And we see all the cards. Approaching the Emperor, the foot of the throne, the final blow. I wonder if this is straight up just going to be 3 fights in a row, which would be 2 more fights in a row than we've ever had before. You enter the chamber in search of the noise's source. It has been so long since I last entertained guests. The voice of the Emperor has the cadence of a closing coffin. Now, it would be funny if this was the Devil Lord Apollyon character we ran into before. I feel obliged to tell you many assassins have attempted what you are undertaking, and as my presence attests, none have prevailed. My body may lack the vigor of its youth, but that matters little. My guard's worthless parts with the lot of you. Funny thing about subordinates, Malclips notes, they have a habit of being a bit temperamental. I should know I've failed as one my entire life. In the pitch black you hear a ruffling as the Emperor strains to look for his royal guard. Apparently they're not coming. You press on into the chamber and spy the Emperor perched atop his throne. His frail body is clad in armor spoiled with faded majesty. While entertaining your hubris, has become tiresome. The geniality has left the Emperor's voice. His pale face rests lopsided on his shoulder, as if he lacks the strength to lift it. I am Emperor Alec, fourth of my line and sovereign protector of the realm. Among coarser company, I am Alec the Bloody, Scalebreaker, and Mage Scourge. After all that, you believe you could kill me? A petty mercenary leading a broken mage, a disavowed barbarian, a treacherous officer, and a blacksmith? The Emperor scoffs. So it almost feels like there isn't even going to be a fight here. Which I'd be more than happy with that outcome.
A death that sets in motion every moment to come. A death that leads you inevitably here.
So we have E of Steel, Emperor of Steel. The Emperor's throne sits atop a massive marble dais that your target awaits patiently 5 steps away. Malcolm climbs the first step and rest of the party follows suit. Of course, your excellency will have protected oneself from mortal threats such as blades. Colborne flings one of his blades at the Emperor, sharp and keening. It slices through the air and bounces off his armor with a sizzle that suggests magical protection. Malclips climbs the next step, and from gunfire, Australia raises her pistol and fires at the Emperor's heart. He flinches but remains unharmed. And of course, petty tricks of a mage such as I. Malclips takes the third step and unleashes a volley of magic missiles. The sorceress bolts fizzle and dissipate against the Emperor, who heaves a deep, tired sigh. Enough of your nuisance. Malclips raises a finger to interrupt, steeping ever closer. Of course, any blade powerful enough to wound you, you would have found and locked away, hidden and safe. In fact, you'd have kept it right here in the palace, would you not, to ensure no one could ever study it or understand its true power. If it were ever stolen by thieves, you would have hired armies of mercenaries to scour the lands for its return, surely. The party reaches the top of the stairs and approaches the throne. Ariadne draws the sacred sword from and the Emperor's eyes grow wide with fear. The old man searches desperately for an escape as you and your 4 companions gather around him. Malclips presses the tip of the sword to the Emperor's heart. For the people you hunted like animals. It seems like there really isn't going to be a fight here, and you're not even going to be the character doing the final blow. It seems like it's very much a raw teamwork situation that's happening here, where everybody's going to have their hand on the blade at the same time. Colborne joins his hand on the blade. For the families torn apart. Yeah, this is very much something that, if it was voice acted, if this was a cutscene, this would be really cool, but just as text, you're really heavily going to rely on somebody's own imagination to make this dialogue and this descriptions interesting, more interesting than just a feel-good ending. Australia grasps the pummel of the blade. For the good people you corrupted. Ariadne's large fist accompanies the blade grip. For the devastation you rained upon the helpless. As one, you thrust the blade at the Emperor's heart. The extra relics you have gathered have increased the blade's power. Gain 2 bonus dice. Okay. So we need a target of 50. How in the world do you get 50 with even 5 bonus dice? It's not possible. Like, we have 2 rerolls. So how many times are we going to have to hit him? I would suspect what we're really doing here is we're just trying to get the highest amount of damage possible and that will just be subtracted away from his health after the fact. Otherwise, like, there's just no way you would have gotten 50 there. Best case scenario, you would have gotten 5 times 6, which would have been 30. So you would have had to have doubled your score. Dark energies from the Emperor's arcane shields course through you. The dealer reduces the dice gambit target to 18 by 18. And we lose 5 life. Well, that's not too bad. That being said, we still can't get to 18. So what we're looking for are the highest numbers possible again, which will be 16 this time. Pain surges up your arm from the blade. So, not really a big deal. You're basically going to win every time here. Unless you had really, really low life, which I don't really see a way you should have had low life in this scenario. Sparks fly as the blade pierces the Emperor's magical barrier and plunges into its chest. A burst of white light temporarily blinds you. A horrible screaming echoes around the throne room, and then it is all over. The white light fades. So there really wasn't a fight. Fine, good. I didn't feel like there would be a need to actually physically fight the Emperor, particularly since he was being described as a frail old person, or frail-bodied person, maybe not old. The noise and pyrotechnics have alerted the guards to your presence. They gasp at the sight of their Emperor's limp corpse, a sword buried deep into his sunken chest. Right. So now is the fight. The Emperor, a knight shouts behind him, "Toll the bell, they have killed the Emperor." So we have 4 Knights of Steel, and we have 4 companions. Are we really going to fight with all 4 of those companions at once? I question that. It looks like we are. So how am I even going to activate all 4 of my companions' abilities at once with the left bump? Or are we going to even need that? Royal Guard, a wall of steel to protect the Emperor, heavily armored, and that can easily turn the tide of battle. Use bash to break the armor.
Whatever you're planning, now would be a good time to fill me in.
Get rid of one guy first. Remember, we have a nemesis character here. So any one of these could hit me and really hurt me if I'm not careful. We have like one more guy. I could definitely see myself having lost there, and that would have been just another great example of a terrible place to have lost after we had done everything else. With the Emperor dead, you expected to feel triumphant, yet now you feel nothing but dread. You see the same realization dawning on your companion's face. Nothing will change. The voice of the hermit rings forth once more. Those cards were played before your arrival, your fate determined well in advance. Yet soon, you will reach a place beyond even my kin, find the dealer, learn his game, and you may yet change the course of this land. Now run. And so we run, and we get a couple of achievements. Let's see, one, well no, it looks like just one. Complete a challenge with one of each equipment type that you gain during the challenge. So apparently I just had all the equipments possible in this challenge and haven't done that before. As far as achievements go, we still are at like 39 out of 99. There's just a insanely large amount of achievements that obviously are very, very difficult to unlock. I imagine a lot of them are just grindy achievements too. Kill 1,000 skeletons, things like that. Let's see what we get.
The Emperor lies dead, but what now changes? The game is still afoot, and time ticks on unceasing.
So, for defeating the Emperor, we have a Brilliant Blade, which we won't know what it does, and the King's Crown, which we won't know what it does. Brilliant Blade has a token. We also have something new for our supplies, a Soul Gem, which maybe that's really powerful, and maybe that's the thing that could turn the tide on this game overall, and really justify going back and playing a lot of the levels that we haven't gotten gold tokens on. We also have a Town of Corruption encounter. Not really a lot new there. Let's see what gold gives us. And then for gaining the strength of all 4 relics to defeat the Emperor, we have a Knight's Helmet, or Knight's Helm, which might be very useful. We also have the Trial by Iron token. For saving the midwife from the ordeal by hot iron, we now have the Executioner's Axe. So that wasn't an axe we could have even gotten before that point.
So your story winds to a close.
See, it gets really bright,
Serpent meets
and then
his
it gets
own
dim
tail,
again.
and we will soon come face to face with the usurper. Are you prepared? It almost matters not now.
Okay, so Judgment and then the World should be the last 2 cards of the major arcana as far as the numbers and the orders of them. The Fool is number 1 of the major arcana of the tarot, and everything is in order down to the World. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a secret like final battle that is just a final battle and not having to do with any cards.
You are
of course,
in
we
the
have to
process
make
of becoming.
the
You
next
came
step.
to me believing you were at the end of your journey, but you were merely beginning. Here we will form you into the weapon you must become.
And once again, we have a quest here that is just going to have us have all the companions. So the whole concept of selecting companions went out the window after the moon. Like, all the others have been much more narrative, this is the final act type quest. Alright, well, I'm not even going to spend the extra time since we went long today making a deck. We will do that in the next episode, and we have once again just lucked out. Like, so far, I don't have to rage quit, but at any point, the next quest, the last 2 quests, could prove to be extremely difficult. I suspect they won't. I suspect that they are moving towards just letting us see the ending of the game. Obviously, credits were always available, and the number of people who are getting to this point, I think, are pretty low, in somewhere below the 10% based on achievement. Just 90% of all players not making it to this point, which is very believable considering how much time and how much work it's taken to get here. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.